for December 24th, 2018. You're listening to the RCWR Show with Lee Sanders. I am Lee, and I thank you guys so much for checking out this episode. Yes, we are just hours away from Christmas itself. Happy holidays and Merry Christmas in advance. We're switching it up this week. I know there are a lot of you guys that are used to getting the web streams of our shows, but I'm switching it up. I've been feeling a little bit under the weather, so kind of wanted to just take it easy and just honestly kick on back, do the audio. Honestly, it was really debating on it, but then I kind of realized, let's not leave people hanging, because we did a poll last week asking you guys what show would you like recorded, and I do appreciate everybody that took the time out to cast their vote. We basically had told you, look, we'll either give you a new RCWR show or we'll give you a wrestling with the topics, and it was pretty much unanimous. I mean, if anything, I was a bit surprised by the amount of love that wrestling with the topics had received for the polling all throughout social media when I added up all the votes from all the platforms. And I really had enjoyed seeing the numbers for wrestling with the topics. I felt that it was going to be pretty unanimous, that everybody was going to go with, no, record an episode of the RCWR show. But I had always anticipated it, but I was more so curious, okay, what is everybody going to say about wrestling with the topics? So it was actually really cool seeing everybody let their voices be heard, and it's nice to see that wrestling with the topics is picking up some steam, so that's always great. So I didn't want to leave you guys hanging though, because after I put the polling out, I was going to say, well, you know what, it's the holiday week, people are going to be traveling, do I really want to put this episode out? And I was kind of on the fence about, well, I don't really want to give anything to Fight TV this week because, it's the holidays. So I decided, you know what, I already put the poll out. Let me go on ahead, do an episode, but just keep it simple. Just let it be about the audio and just pretty much go from there. So that's what you guys are getting this week. I do hope that you guys that do celebrate the Christmas holiday, I hope that it is an enjoyable one for you all. I hope you're going to be eating lots of good food. I mean, me over here, I'm going to be taking it real easy. I'm going to be making a nice dinner for me and the family. I'm going to be making some mac and cheese. I don't know if I'm going to be frying some steak or if it's going to be pork chops, but I'm picturing that. Maybe some string beans or some carrots. Maybe there's going to be something for dessert. I know we already have cookies that we can bake in the oven, but I'm not really sure if maybe we'll also get some type of a small cherry pie or something of that nature. But I've already done my Christmas shopping. I tell you, when it comes to Christmas shopping, I do not like going amongst the sea of people that are out there, right? I can't stand it. It is just, crazy. I'm sure you guys have been out there and or you've watched the news and you've seen how crazy it can be out there, man. And it just seems like it gets worse and worse and worse as the years have progressed. And I can tell you, a couple of years ago when I had worked in retail and I had worked in security and I was working at a mall, I can tell you just from my personal experience, this is the worst time of the year for employees in retail. Anybody that has to do with the retail industry, this is just one of the worst times of the year. And you've really got to keep a cool head. You've got to be calm. You got to be collected because you're dealing with so many personalities all throughout the span in minutes into your shift. And you could be dealing with people that are straight up assholes, arrogant little smug pricks, just trying to start a little something. I mean, you got to have a lot of patience. You really have to have a lot of patience. And I tell you, I always say it every single year, especially when it comes to the Thanksgiving holiday, as that's when I usually say it. You know how you got those Black Friday sales and all that day after Thanksgiving? I usually say, from that time period all the way through Christmas, hey, when you're going out there and you're taking advantage of these exclusive shopping deals and all that, have some patience. Try to show a little bit more extra respect towards those people that's helping you that work in retail, because for a lot of these cats, they're not getting paid time and a half. For a lot of these people, they're not given the option of spending time with their family, right? It's not a situation where, okay, well, I've been saving up all of my vacation time. I haven't called out. I've pretty much gotten myself up to this point so that I can enjoy Thanksgiving and Christmas with my family. Sadly, a lot of people are not in that type of a position where they can take off. They get their schedule and they're forced to work that holiday. And, you know, when honestly they would rather either spend it with their family, or if they don't have family, they would rather just have that day off so they can recharge their batteries, right? Who doesn't want to do that? So the fact that they're being forced to work and it's not time and a half, right? You really, I always say, especially, and I speak as someone that, again, was in retail and all that, was in that form of customer service. So, you know, they definitely have my utmost respect, because it's not easy. It is not easy, let me tell you. But I do not like shopping around this time of the years. I do not like going into the stores physically, and I don't like that. I make my shopping as simple as humanly possible. I have been a Amazon customer. My God, it feels like I've been an Amazon customer. Well, let me think. I want to say since 2002, 2003, something of that nature. I've been an Amazon customer, and so when it comes to the holidays, my shopping is easy. I already know what to get for my friends, family, loved ones. I do my shopping. I've got my Prime membership, so guaranteed I will get my stuff in 1 to 2 days. I love that. I mean, I've already got my shipment. I'm sure many of you guys that are Amazon Prime members, the last day to get in your orders for a guarantee that it would arrive at your doorstep on Christmas Eve, you would have had to place an order, if I'm not mistaken, and you guys can correct me online, but if I'm not mistaken, I believe the last day was Friday. I believe, like, if you got your order in maybe by about, I would say by 9 p.m. Eastern or something like that, it was a guarantee that you would definitely have it by Christmas Eve. And I was really bummed out because I had ordered 4 things for my girl. I ordered a whole bunch of stuff for friends, family, colleagues, and all that. But there was some particular items I had got for my girl. And sadly, one of the items is not going to be here until 2 days after Christmas. And I was really bummed out about that. And then my girl was telling me, talking about Amazon, and then my girl had told me, she said, hey, one of the things that I got for you on Amazon, it's not going to be here until Thursday. And I said, oh my God, you too? She's like, what are you talking about? And I told her, hey, I tried to order another thing for you thinking it was going to be included with the stuff coming on Christmas Eve, but it's not coming here until like Thursday. And she's like, oh, okay, well, we'll still go on ahead. We'll wrap those up and we'll exchange them to each other. How about that? I said, okay, all right, that sounds pretty cool. All right. So we're still going to be all as a big old family. We're still going to be opening up gifts and all that, but that's going to kind of be like a one-on-one thing a couple of days after the fact. But I love just going online and shopping, because once I know what my people want, what they are expecting for the holiday season, my job is so freaking easy to just go online, get it, kick back, couple of clicks, boom, I'm done. At that point, all I got to do is just coordinate, make sure that me or somebody else is home to intercept the packages, and that's it, right? Because you know, package theft, as we covered on the show here a couple of weeks ago, has been on the rise a lot more. It's ridiculous. I'm sure you guys remember I was on this show about 2 weeks ago, and I had told you all about the story of how the mom had made their 9-year-old kid run up to a residence and steal a package from the porch. And I'm not really sure what was the outcome of that. I'll have to maybe during this little holiday break see if there was any breaks with regards to that particular story, but you always got to be careful around this time of the year. So yeah, getting ready for the holidays. Hope you guys are gearing up for the holidays as well. If you're still going to be going out there traveling, take your time on the roads. Do not be rushing. You will get there in due time. Let me promise you guys. Saw some really great NFL action over the weekend. I tell you, man, look, my Kansas City Chiefs, I'm bummed out, man. I'm really bummed out. Kansas City had lost to Seattle Seahawks 31-38, Sunday Night Football on NBC. And I tell you, when you look at some of these primetime games, we've seen a couple of Kansas City Chief games on NBC this season. I believe we've seen at least 3. I remember there was 2 games that was back to back. I remember saying to my girl, holy crap, we get to see Patrick Mahomes again next Sunday. Wow, 2 games back to back. All right, this is badass. So we've seen Patrick Mahomes a total of 3 times now on NBC, and he has lost those respected games. We have also seen Patrick Mahomes lose on Monday Night Football. So, I mean, I know that he has these really great stats, yards that he's been throwing, and, he's up there with the Bradys, the Mannings, and all of that. But when you look at those interceptions, it's really, really hard to turn away and really turn a blind eye to those interceptions. It really, really is. To the point, I honestly believe in my heart of hearts that Drew Brees, the way that he has been playing this season, I feel that Drew Brees is probably going to win that award. I really, really do. Just the way that it's going right now, the race for MVP, I feel that Drew Brees, especially after the gutsy performance that he had, oh my God, what a gutsy ass performance that he had between Big Ben and the Pittsburgh Steelers. I got to give it up to Big Ben though. Big Ben, the way that he played on Sunday, that was, of this season, that was like the best performance I have seen Big Ben. That man was out there playing like a man on a mission. I loved it. I ate up every single minute of that game. Oh my God, that was just phenomenal. But also, Cowboys, shout out to the Cowboys. They had defeated the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to clinch a berth in the playoffs. They defeated them 27-20. So my Cowboys are looking pretty damn good. Patriots had defeated the Buffalo Bills. So they officially, I mean, the way things had played out over the weekend, Patriots basically had moved up to the number 2 seed as far as the berth that they had clinched and everything. Redskins lost to the Tennessee Titans 16-25, and without a shadow of doubt now, you can definitely stick a fork in it. Redskins playoff hopes, their playoff potential, it's over. You can stick a fork in it. It is done. And the way that the NFL playoff standings are looking right now, when you look at the AFC, you have the Kansas City Chiefs. They've clinched a playoff berth. We have the Patriots. Not only did they clinch a playoff berth, but for like the 15th time, for Tom Brady, doing his thing with the Patriots, clinching the division title. All right. So Patriots, that's 2 that they got right there. The Houston Texans, they have clinched a playoff berth. You've also got Ravens that are sitting at 9-6 for your wild card. You have the Chargers. The Chargers have clinched a playoff berth. Colts right there as well in the wild card. Still in the hunt in the AFC. You've got the Titans who are sitting at 9-6. And you have the Steelers who are sitting at 8-6. And, just going back to that Steelers game one more time, there were definitely, if you were watching that game like I was over the weekend, there were definitely some very questionable calls that made you go, wait a minute, guys, what are you doing here? And I mean, when you had that one play where it was 4th and 5th, right? 4th and 5th. It's like, wait a minute. Okay, if it's 4th and 1, okay, yeah, go ahead, go for it. But to make that attempt on 4th and 5th, I mean, for me, even if you would have made it, I still would have gone back and said, my God, what a very, very questionable call. I can appreciate Mike Tomlin having the guts to go, okay, nah, you know what? We got to put it all out there on the line. This is about the playoffs. Let's go. You know, we got to be more hungry, the hungrier team. I appreciate that. I appreciate that mindset. But man, it seemed like that was a big testament to the confidence that Mike Tomlin had in his offense. I would have preferred it if that ball would have been in Big Ben's hands, as opposed to, oh, okay, well, special teams go out there and no, your defense had been playing very well throughout that whole game. Every series, it was like punt, block a field goal attempt. I mean, they were doing exceptionally well. Defense was for the Steelers. So to not go on ahead, kick that ball to hopefully the 20-yard line, right, on the New Orleans Saints end, at their end of the field, and basically let your defense go out there and hopefully be able to shut them down 4 times, get the ball back. I thought that move that they did was just detrimental. I thought that was the momentum swing that went back in favor of the Saints and got them back into the game. Literally not only got them, because I mean, it was always a close game, but if there was any confidence shaken, if there was any doubt on the Saints side that, okay, you know what, yeah, this game is over, we're done. Once that huge error was made by Mike Tomlin with the special teams, pretty much just basically throwing the game away is how I really looked at it. And then you're basically putting the Saints in a good position where they take over midfield. And you've got Drew Brees, who's been having a phenomenal year. Oh, yeah, it was just a recipe for disaster. And when you just go back and you look at the past 4 out of 5 games that the Steelers have had, they've had these games where one game they're leading by 16 points and they blow a 16-point lead. And you see another game, all these games, when you just add them up, it's, you guys should have won this. You guys should have won this. This does not make any sense whatsoever. Now, I know that we've got the sports radio shows and all of that are saying, oh, it's the end of Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin is potentially going to get fired. And I'm not buying that whatsoever. I mean, the Steelers organization, they have had a handful of coaches. I think Mike Tomlin is probably like the 3rd, 4th, 5th coach or whatever in Steeler history or whatever. So, I mean, they show a lot of loyalty is the point that I'm making to their coaches. I don't see anything like that happening. First of all, if something like that were to happen, it's not gonna happen with one more game left. I would like to believe that something like that may happen in the off season once the Super Bowl and all that is over. But my gut instincts, out of 100%, I am 100% certain that Mike Tomlin is not going to be fired. I mean, he has done very well with that team. There's been a lot of close games. There's a couple of more pieces that maybe they could work on in the off season of adding on, and they should come out even better than ever. But no, I don't think Mike Tomlin is going to be fired. I think that's very, very silly. Very silly. While we're talking about the AFC, as far as teams eliminated, Browns, Dolphins, Broncos, Bengals, Bills, Jaguars, Jets, and the Raiders. Let's switch on over and look at the NFC standings right now. The NFC playoff standings are as follows. We've got the Saints, who have clinched the divisional title and playoff berth. We have the Rams, same thing. Bears, same thing. With what the Cowboys did on Sunday, they're in the same conversation as well. Your wild card, Seattle Seahawks and the Vikings. In the hunt is the Eagles, the defending, reigning Super Bowl champions, are outside looking in right now, sitting at 8-7. So, I mean, man. But I mean, Nick Foles is back into the mix, so anything can and will happen. Anything can and will happen. So we'll see how that goes. Eliminated Cardinals, 49ers, Lions, Buccaneers, Giants, Panthers, Falcons, Packers. Wow. And the Washington Redskins. Look, man, my hat's off to the Redskins organization. They dealt with so many injuries this season, with the very top one, the one that was the most detrimental, was losing Alex Smith. That was the one that significantly hurt them the most. But just look at all of the injuries that they had. Look, if you're the opposing team and you're defeating Washington, you're going, hey, it's great. But at the same time, deep down within, you're taking on a team that is not at 100%. And you really don't know what your offense, what your defense is truly capable of until you take on a team that is at 100% healthy, right? So, as far as I'm concerned, the Redskins organization, as long as I have been living here in the nation's capital, as long as I have been watching the Washington Redskins, I would have to say of all the seasons, this was one of the most what the fuck seasons that I've seen this organization experience just from the injuries alone. I am definitely wishing everybody a speedy recovery, especially Alex Smith, because remember, we talked about it here on this show a couple of weeks ago. He had to have that leg reopened up because there was an infection that was spreading throughout. So it's already bad enough that his leg got operated on. It's got the stitches, bolts and all that. But now there's an infection and they've got to go back in. They've got to open all of that up, right? All that pretty sewing that they did, the bolts and screws, they got to open all that up, clean up that infection, right? Get it all out and then sew it, bolt it all back together again. So they're saying it's possible he may not ever play again. It's looking kind of bad right now. So definitely to Alex Smith, a very, very speedy recovery. One of the tipping points from that Sunday loss that the Washington Redskins had experienced, you had a player, D.J. Swearinger, the veteran safety, had said Monday on 106.7 The Fan Radio that he was released by the Washington Redskins after criticizing defensive coordinator Greg Manowski. Manowski. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that last name right, in the aftermath of that 25-16 loss to the Tennessee Titans on Saturday. And Swearinger, just kind of get you guys caught up to speed, he basically took issue with the man-to-man coverages that the team used when Titans backup Blaine Gabbert entered the game to replace Marcus Mariota, who left with a stinger, and he did not return. His status was questionable, but he never returned to the game. And Derringer had said, and I quote, "We should have blown them out. If I'm the D coordinator, I'm calling zone every time on third down because you got a backup quarterback. Make him beat us. We're playing a backup quarterback. Why would you put us in man-to-man? We are at our best on defense when we look at the quarterback." And so you had Jay Gruden, who said in a conference call Sunday that the team was considering taking action against Swearinger for the comments. And he had said, and I quote, and I caught all of this when I was watching Redskins final, or it used to be known as Redskins report or whatever, comes on after the news, usually after Redskins play a game or whatnot. Jay Gruden had said, "I'm quite disappointed, to be honest with you. I think we made it pretty clear we keep our business within these walls." And when we've had talks before about that, and unfortunately, he chose to go to the media again and talk about some of his displeasure with some of the calls. We had a discussion about him before, and I thought we squashed it, but I guess not. It's happened with the same guy a couple of times now, so it's become redundant to me. Swearinger, Pro Bowl alternate this season after leading the Redskins in interceptions with 4 and passes defense 10. He did have 1 year remaining on his contract. His $4.25 million base salary for 2019 was not guaranteed. So this young man, 27 years of age, I appreciate him being so passionate and basically calling out the bullshit that he thinks is going on, why Washington had the struggles that it had, in particular in that game Sunday against the Tennessee Titans. But let me tell you something. If you've got your head coach basically telling you, hey, any problems that you may have, we're keeping this in-house. I get it. I get the frustrations. Look, I'm willing to hear everything out. We can work on it, blah, 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 blah. But the one thing that I want to make sure is crystal clear. We will not have these type of antics, no matter how you may feel. We will not have you take to the press and air all of this out. Any issues that you have with management, this needs to be in-house. We need to look unified. I get that. But let me tell you something. You don't want this type of reputation. You don't. If you are a player, you do not want this type of reputation, because this has a lingering effect, so that when you're out there on the free agency market and other teams, they're going, okay, yeah, his stats pretty good, but what's going on here? Let's talk with the players. Okay, hey, players, won't you all get on the phone and won't you all talk to the players over there at the Washington club? Upper management, hey, won't you guys get in contact with the upper management over at the Redskins organization, and let's compare notes. Let's find out what's going on with this young man and find out if he's really worth acquiring. And you don't want to keep hearing stuff like this, because for a player to have that type of, yeah, he's a good player, but man, any problems that he has with management, play calls, blah, 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 he's going to throw your ass under the bus out there in front of the media. You're not going to go that far in the league. And this young man, he's only 27. Just turned 27 a couple of months ago. He can still play a couple of more years if he wants to. If he's hoping that he can play for another 3, 4, 5, 6 years, he can have that and more. But he's got to know when to talk and when to zip it. Right? So, as far as the Redskins letting him go, I don't feel sorry for him whatsoever. As far as I'm concerned, he got himself released. And who knows? Maybe this might have been a strategic move. If I'm a reporter, I would say to him, hey, look, DJ, it's well documented, at least by Coach Jay Gruden, that they've spoken to you about being so outspoken about what's happening in-house, questionable play calls, questioning management, coordinators. It's established that you were spoken to about this many times. Were you, in fact, spoken to about this many times? So that would be my first question. And then my follow-up question would be, knowing that the club does not like people that are outspoken like this in public to the media, as they want to work out whatever problems in-house, you went against protocol. Was this on purpose? so that you could put yourself in a position where you could be released by the Redskins club? Or were you just that passionate about some of these games throughout the season that your club was losing, that you felt you all should have been able to win, that frustration got the best of you, right? I would, if I was the reporter, I would ask him those type of questions, and hopefully we'll know what's going on with that with him in the coming days. I'm very curious what his answer would be, right? But I don't feel sorry for DJ, not one little bit. And while we're talking football, hey man, a speedy recovery to Pro Football Hall of Famer Matt Millen, who actually used to play for the Washington Redskins, played 1 year back in 1991, also played for the 49ers and the Los Angeles Raiders, the Oakland Raiders. He just recently had open heart surgery. He was in desperate need for heart surgery, needed a transplant. It all goes back to a diagnosis that he had received in 2017, and hopefully I am pronouncing this condition right. I really should have researched how to pronounce this before I came on here to record, but he was diagnosed with amyloidosis. And basically this occurs when abnormal proteins called amyloids produced in the bone marrow, in the bone marrow, build up in the organs or tissue. And in his case, the disease affected his heart, which operated at 30% capacity as a result. So this man knocking on death's door, relatively young, 60 years of age. And, the former Detroit Lions general manager, he received a heart donation and transplant on Christmas Eve, according to a report by, Peter King. You guys know about Peter King. So that's some really good news, for that Hall of Famer. Of course, he still has a long way to go, because these next couple of weeks, even going into a couple of months, are going to be very critical, because he may reject that heart, right? So there's going to be some very close monitoring going on for this next little bit to make sure everything is a success. He did have the surgery. He's out of surgery at the time that we're recording this right now. But he's definitely going to need a lot of thoughts and prayers. So definitely want to send that out to him and his respective family. Yeah, that's long road of recovery. Long road of recovery. So that's all the craziness that's been going on with football. I'm aware of some of the stuff that's been coming about with LeBron James and him apologizing for the Jewish money Instagram post. I'm not sure how many of you guys had saw this, but there was an Instagram post that LeBron posted on Sunday, and he quoted the song from 21 Savage, the band. The song is titled ASMR. It's by 21 Savage, and he basically had typed, "We've been getting that Jewish money. Everything is kosher." And so I guess maybe one of LeBron's people, somebody from his PR team, whatnot. I mean, as soon as he put it out there, somebody went to him and basically said, "Dog, hey, look, I know you were quoting a song, but some people may take this out of context and they may end up being offended by that. And as a result of that, yeah, you may want to get out there and you may want to issue an apology ASAP." And so James ended up removing the post from his account. And he told ESPN, "Apologies for sure if I offended anyone. That's not why I chose to share that lyric. I always post lyrics. That's what I do. I ride in my car. I listen to great music. And that was the byproduct of it. So I actually thought it was a compliment, and obviously it wasn't through the lens of a lot of people. My apologies. It definitely was not the intent, obviously, to hurt anyone." So I appreciate the fact that LeBron James jumped out there and immediately was trying to squash however anybody may have felt about that. Look, I know exactly where LeBron is coming from. Look, yeah, dummy, I don't have LeBron James money. I don't have the LeBron James status, nothing like that. So please don't take it as me comparing myself to LeBron James. No, please don't take what I'm getting ready to say that way. I can relate to what LeBron James is saying and people being offended and all that, because let me share with you all a really fun story. And this isn't a long-winded story. I remember there was a woman I had dated very, very briefly. And this had happened about the time I was pretty much done with my first marriage, and me and my now late ex-wife, we were basically seeing other people. And this woman who I was very, very interested in, I had met her on a dating site. She was in her early 40s. I want to say she was 41, maybe 42. Okay. So I remember me and her, we were cool. We had talked on the phone for many weeks, and long story short, I could tell that what she really was looking for was a good lay. It wasn't about getting a steady man, nothing like that. And to the point when we finally had our first date, I mean, we came so damn close to having sex in the backseat of her car. It wasn't even funny. I remember I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that for you guys. All right. I'm going to try to keep it clean this holiday season. But I remember afterwards, for whatever respected reason, I remember there was a conversation that she had with me, and she said, "Hey, look, I'm, 40, I got it. I know, I'm thinking back to it now. I know she wasn't 43. I want to say she was either 41 or 42, but I remember the conversation that I had with her over the phone. She said, "Look, I'm in my 40s, and, you're in your 20s. And, I really care about you a lot. You seem like a really nice, sweet guy, but I need stability right now. And your life is still just beginning. You still haven't figured out what your career path is going to be. And I'm just thinking long term. And I don't think we'd really be a good match for one another. I mean, without a shadow of doubt, there is definitely strong chemistry between the two of us, but I just personally feel that we would be better off as friends, because I'm at a certain place in my life right now and you're still just beginning." And I was pretty bummed out about it, but I went on ahead and I said, okay, we could be friends, no problem. And I did a pretty good job for the most part being her friend. There would be a lot of times that she'd get a little horny and she would talk dirty to me on the phone, and and I kind of reciprocated and all that other shit, but we pretty much had just kept it at that. Now, how this ties into what LeBron James had did, here it is, in case you guys are like, where does this connect? Here's how it connects. So one day I was just sending her text messages, right? Checking in with her, seeing how she was doing. So at this point, this was probably like about 6 months after it was decided, hey, let's just be friends. All right. And she was a really good friend to me, and she definitely, I would say she was a friend to me, like I was a good friend to her. Right. So I'm texting her one day, telling her how I'm getting ready to go on this job interview and, blah, blah, blah. And I had been listening to U2 because I was so big into this song, and I had discovered it on their 1980 to 1990. What was it? There's a U2 compilation joint that's out. I think it's a 1990 to 1990 to 2000 best of U2. It's got like two bisons on the cover that's getting ready to like beat the living crap out of each other. Pretty sure that's what it was. I'm actually looking at it right now. Yeah, Best of U2, 1990 to 2000. And the B-sided disc, I fucked with that big time because it basically kind of picked up on, I want to say, the pop album era when they were really big into the techno stuff and all that. And there was a great techno rendition that they had did of the Beatles, Happiness is a Warm Gun. So I remember I had text her, Happiness is a Warm Gun. And this woman just started flipping the fuck out, and she thought I was crazy. She didn't want to have anything else to do with me. She was like, oh my God, ditch my number. If you even try to come close to me again, I'm gonna call the cops, blah, blah, blah. And I told her, I said, hey, I'm sorry that you feel that way, but I was actually just citing the lyrics of a Beatles song. It's called Happiness is a Warm Gun. And I told her, I said, there's a U2 album. You can check this out yourself. There's a U2 album that I've been checking out, and it's got one of the Beatles songs on it. And part of the lyrics is Happiness is a Warm Gun. And I can't remember what her reply was after that, but I just remember standing my ground and just saying, hey, look, I'm sorry if you got startled. I'm sorry if what I said offended you in any type of way. Maybe I should have done much better and saying, hey, I've been listening to this song by U2. It's actually a cover from the Beatles. It's titled Happiness is a Warm Gun. Man, what an interesting song. You should check it out if you're into that type of stuff. But, we never did get to that point in what should have been a continuing blossoming friendship. We never did get to that point where it was, well, what type of music are you into? Well, I'm into, well, what type of music are you into? Well, I'm into, we never did get to that point. When I look back, most of the conversations that we basically had, it was pretty much, how's your day? How's everything going? She's telling me about her bullshit job, telling me about how her kid is doing, telling me about how her mother is doing. Because if I remember it right, she was sharing a 3-bedroom apartment with her mom. Son had his own bedroom. Mom had her own bedroom, and herself, she had her own room as well. But that was really it. There really wasn't anything that, it wasn't, oh, what's your favorite movie? Or, what do you like to do on the weekends? Or, what's your favorite pet? We never did have any of those type of conversations whatsoever. It never really was a situation where we were really filling each other out. I think, honestly, when you get right down to the heart of the matter, at times there were sexual needs, and either I was in a position where I couldn't hook her up at the time, and as a result of that, she had to do whatever she needed to do. And then there'd be times where when I get that feeling, I needed sexual healing, and then she was not available, right? So it was just kind of one of those type of deals. So I can understand completely how LeBron, with those comments that he put out there, even though he was citing lyrics of a song from a pretty popular band, I could totally understand it. How some people may look at that and they may find it offensive. Like, even if he is quoting lyrics from an artist, yeah, there's gonna be a lot of people that's gonna look at that and it's gonna offend them. I mean, it would be no different than the Jerry Seinfeld video that's floating around right now. I'm not sure how many of you guys had saw this, but it's from an old, I can't think of the damn comedian's name, but basically it was Jerry Seinfeld, Chris Rock, Louis C.K., Richard Gervais, I believe was the other one. It's an old clip going back to 2011. It was of a HBO special. And I believe the HBO special was titled Talking Funny. I'm not really sure if there's anything else to that. I want to say maybe it was just called Talking Funny. But the N-word was used. And it's sad that here we are, 2011, and this clip had fucking resurfaced once again. But you see Louis C.K. and Chris Rock, they're just going back and forth. And Chris Rock, he calls Louis C.K. the blackest white guy I fucking know. And Louis C.K., he's chuckling and he comes right back. He says, "You're saying I'm a nigger." And Chris Rock agrees, and there's laughing amongst the three comedians except for Jerry Seinfeld. Jerry obviously looks rocked. He looks like, yeah, I'm not playing this game. And it was very, very interesting because as the seconds progressed, Seinfeld looks more and more increasingly uncomfortable throughout the exchange. And then finally you had Ricky Gervais ask, "Who says nigger on stage?" "We don't," Seinfeld replies. And somebody goes, "Well, you just did." But you just did, Seinfeld never did say it. It was actually Richard Gervais that had said it. And my God, Seinfeld has some very powerful words to say by the end of it. He basically, I'm actually pulling it up on Facebook right now because I had shared it on the Facebook page, but I'll actually go ahead and I'll play the clip for you guys in just a hot second. But what he ended up saying, I'm trying to see if I got it right here on, damn, that's kind of weird. 1 minute I had it on the Facebook page. Is it just me, or has Facebook been acting rather weird for Android users? Like when you try to go and post something, it doesn't post instantly. You have to forcefully shut down the Facebook app and then open it again and then hope that whatever you're trying to upload, photo or video, that it'll finally upload. And it's been really, really weird how it's been operating here. I'm actually on the desktop here. I'm trying to see if I can pull it up for you guys real quick here. And hopefully, yep. So Jerry Seinfeld, he says, "You found humor in saying that word. I haven't found it yet, nor do I seek it." And everybody on social media, even though this is from 2011, everybody has just been giving Jerry Seinfeld a lot of props. Now look, there has been some things that Jerry Seinfeld has said in the past that has been eyebrow raising. Sure. But Seinfeld has never crossed that line, right? He's never crossed that line. I just find it so interesting of where our comedy is today. It just reminds me of something I'm always telling my coworkers, colleagues, friends, and family, which is, can you just imagine the Paul Mooneys, the Bernie Macs, the Richard Pryors, the Red Foxes, just picture all of those guys. Eddie Murphy, vintage Eddie Murphy. Just picture all of these guys trying to do their comedy today. George Carlin. Just picture all of these guys trying to do their style of comedy that made them so famous. Andrew Dice Clay. Just picture all of these guys trying to do their comedy today. They would be fucking eaten alive. And that's the God's to honest truth. That is the God's to honest truth. And it's really sad. It's really sad. You know, it's also sad that we have this situation where, oh, well, this is from, I mean, just stop and think about that. Think about where our society was. Think about where pulp culture was and all that. Think about where things were back in 2011. Think about where things might have been 2001. And the fact that we have these social justice warriors that's running all around and digging up stuff and, oh, this person said, and this is offensive and blah, blah, blah. Now look, Once in a while, do I throw the N-word out there? Yes, I do. I throw the N-word out there. I usually will throw the N-word out there when I'm behind closed doors. I'm in the privacy of my own home and I'm with friends, family, and I'm just cutting loose. You know, I don't have to worry about stepping on boundaries. I don't have to worry about stepping on toes. And ultimately, I let my guard down and I talk the way that I talk with my friends, because a lot of my friends who I've been knowing since junior high, we grew up in the same neighborhoods together, hung around the same people, went to the same stores, parents interacted with each other. You know, one household, such as mine, living on welfare, and friend and they parents on welfare as well. So I mean, same peas in a pod when it's all said and done. But I have enough common sense to know that when I get out there and I'm in that work environment, I don't care how comfortable, I don't care how many years I may work with the same people over and over and over again, right? I don't care. I will not talk to them the way I talk to my family and friends. I just don't. I just don't. I refuse to cross that line. Even if they may say something and it's like, oh, hey, that's funny. I get the context and everything like that. I give it to them, but I don't reciprocate because I just won't cross that threshold. I just won't. But for me, just because I may hear something that they say and, okay, well, I get it. I know the context. I know the setup. All right, I'm not offended. In this society that we're in nowadays, we've got so many people that's running around and they want to throw the pitchfork up in the air. Oh, how dare you! How dare you! And it's like, loosen the fuck up a bit, you know, look at the history, you know, rather than these individuals that has these pitchforks up in the air. Oh, how, you know, I bet you not one of these motherfuckers really knows the rich history of all of these comedians and how many decades they've put into their work to get to the point of where they are right now. And, you know, that's really the unfortunate part when it's all said and done. But I find it so damn fascinating that a clip from almost fucking 10 years ago has people just, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. You know, it's funny. It's so funny. You know, I was looking at this all play out online, and I was somehow reminded of Do the Right Thing, a Spike Lee joint. And I literally was watching that earlier this morning, as I had a hard time sleeping. And one of my all-time favorite movies, great casts in there as well. I always learn something new each time I watch it. And just one of the things I took away this go round when I watched it was, wow, look at what's going on with race relations today. And look at how with this movie in the early 90s and Do the Right Thing, look at how well this movie holds up to date and how it basically embodies everything that's currently going on in our society and how we interact with each other in the communities and all that. Still rings very true to this very day. And I tell you, I don't want to get political and all that. I try to do my best to stay political, but when you just look at some of the stuff that's happening in politics, the way that the races, the genders, spiritualities, you know, religion, the way everything is just being separated. It's like, well, if you're not on this side, then you're on that side, and we can't have anything to do with you. It's bullshit. It's quite fucking bullshit. And since I kind of brought up democracy and all that other stuff, hey man, my thoughts and prayers to those that are federal government employee workers, man. Seriously. And I mean that for everybody across the United States. I mean, if you are a federal government worker, my thoughts and prayers are with you right now, because we've got this shutdown, this government shutdown that I thought honestly was going to get squashed before Christmas, but sadly it did not. And here we are now. I believe this is day 3 of the government shutdown at the time that we're recording this, going on day 4. And there are people that are heavily affected by this, to the point they're not going to have any money coming in, right? Some of the news reports that I had watched, I remember there was this one brother that stood out in my mind. He was talking about how when his kids were younger, he used to try to do his best to dance around what was going on. And he had a hard time explaining to them why Christmas was going to be pretty light for that respected year. But now that his kids are older, he can now be completely honest with them and tell them, hey, look, this is what's going on. This is why Christmas is going to be very light. And they're much more receptive. They are more understanding to what's going on. And it sucks. It sucks because you've got families that are depending on these jobs to give them their money. You got these people that have these financial responsibilities, mortgages, car payments, rent, utilities, all that shit, right? And now they're in this position where, man, well, really hope that you have budgeted your money and you have something tucked away to the side for situations like this, because there's no telling how long this is going to last. And the president has already jumped out there and said that this may well go into the beginning of the new year. And so you hear that and you're like, man, that fucking sucks. And it makes me knock on wood even more, because I remember off and on couple of years, I would say within the past 3 years, there's been some opportunities for me to go into the security industry once again and command a ridiculous salary working for the federal government. And one of the things that had turned me off was, yeah, but every time you turn around, there's a government shutdown. Like, I don't really know if I want to be dealing with that type of shit. And my girl was very close to working for the federal government, except she was going to be working as a contractor, but she still would have been affected by the federal government shutdown. And so it was like, so we both had respectively dodged some serious bullets. I don't know the name of the chef, but there's a famous Hispanic chef that we have out here, and what a cool dude that he is. They're going to be able to eat for free at any of his restaurants. Chef Jose Andres. He is basically going to be feeding government employees at his restaurants for free for as long as the government is on shutdown mode. As long as they have their government badges, he's going to hook them up. Of course, small businesses are affected by this as well. Now, look, I'm saying all of this. I don't want people to be getting into this whole, oh, well, the blame game. As far as, oh, well, it's the Republicans' fault, or, oh, it's the Democrats' fault. I don't want to get into that. Can we all find a middle ground and stick with that? And that middle ground is, it fucking sucks that we have our government at the position that it's in right now, because when it's all said and done, regardless if you voted Democrat, Republican, Independent, Tea Party, regardless, the people that you put in place with your vote to get the job done for you is not getting the job done for you. Because look at where we are right now. Fuck all that blame game shit. I'm so tired of that. We all just need to be in agreement that the people that we put in place of power with our votes, they aren't getting the job done, because this type of shit should not be happening. And it's sad that it is. And my heart really does go out to all of these people that are affected by this shutdown, because it's going to be a good minute before a lot of these people are going to be able to see another paycheck again. And they could be in a situation, for all we know, some of these people may possibly be paycheck to paycheck. And they could be a paycheck away from having serious problems with their rent or their mortgage. They could be a paycheck away from being out on the street. You feel where I'm coming from? So nobody should be experiencing that, especially this time of the year. It's already stressful as it is because for a lot of people, middle America, typical Americans here, you got to put out X amount of money, get these gifts for everybody. So that's going to sting your wallet a little bit. Then you got to worry about recovering, right? A lot of us are still in recovery mode since Thanksgiving because we wanted to have a nice big old spread for family and all that other stuff, right? Just a little bit of food for thought, man. Just a little bit of food for thought. If you know somebody that has been affected by this, maybe a nice cool thing to do is send them a nice holiday card. Let them know that your thoughts and prayers are definitely with them, and I'm sure they would greatly appreciate that. Hey, want to get into some shout outs? Can I get into some Patreon shout outs? I really do appreciate our Patreon members, man. They are basically the heartbeat. They are the heart and soul. I had to do that. I had to go a little Huey Lewis there. Their heart and soul of the RCWR show. Without their kind contributions to what we do for you guys here, man, I tell you, shows like what you're checking out right now, it would not be free. So we do appreciate their kind contributions. Remember, man, be a Patreon member, $5 a month. You get access to bonus video and audio content, new content you're not going to be able to find anywhere else. Hours upon hours upon hours of content is at your fingertips. It's just seconds away from you accessing. Patreon.com/RCWR Show. Shout out to my good buddy Anthony Missionary Thomas of Wrestling Soup. Appreciate the belated birthday wishes, buddy. I appreciate everybody that showed me love and gave me all the birthday wishes. Thank you. Also, shout out to Michael Wolf, John Davis, and Joe Raymond Jr. Appreciate all of you guys. Love you guys tremendously. Let's keep. Oh, can I get into a special shout out? Special shout out to Courtney Summers. Courtney Summers. I haven't gotten a chance to check it out yet. I'm hoping I'll be able to check it out in the next coming days. I've been very busy doing all kinds of shit. But she recently had put out, if I remember it right, she recently had put out a podcast, or she had appeared on a podcast. And I want to see if I can try to pull up that info for you guys right now. So bear with me, because I've actually got the Twitter open. So I want to try to see if I can pull it up for you guys. And she was like, did you listen to this? Hey, check this out. And I want to make sure I give her that love and check it out here. Okay, so here we go. I'm in a search. Boom. There we go. And let me see here. I'm just going to hit latest and maybe I can find it that way. I should be able to. See. Nope. Yeah, there we go. She appeared on episode 137 of Pop Culture History, the Pop Culture History podcast, episode 137. You guys should recognize Courtney, Villainous Havoc, Courtney Summers. She has been a loyal supporter of many podcasts, including ours. Even though she's not a Patreon member, she continues to be a good long time supporter of the show, and we do appreciate her. She was telling me a couple of months back how she was going to be gearing up to have her own show, and it got put on the brakes. I'm not sure if that's something she's maybe going to resume in 2019. I know her and her husband, they recently had moved into a new place. They're getting situated and everything. So hopefully, maybe before 2019 is up, that's going to be happening. But in the meantime, she had appeared on this podcast. And I definitely want you guys to do your best to check it out. Pop Culture History, episode 137. Check that out when you guys get an opportunity. I'm sure you can find that in a respected Bing Google search. Yeah. So, look, man, really not that much has been happening since last we were on the air as far as the wrestling content goes and everything. I mean, look, I can blaze through the Raw and the SmackDown results because they taped these last week. And I'm looking at it here. I'm looking at what went down with Raw. And apparently Elias had kicked off the Christmas Eve edition of Raw with a Christmas song. And then he gets into his fight with Bobby Lashley in a Miracle on 34th Street fight. The Raw Tag Team Champions, Chad Gable and Bobby Roode, they retained their titles over the Revival. Sasha Banks, Bayley, and Amber Moon, they defeated Mickie James, Dana Brooke, and Alicia Fox. Riot Squad attacked Moon, Banks, and Bayley after the match. Finn Balor defeated Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler in a triple threat. Drew announced himself in the Royal Rumble match in a pre-match promo. Balor won the match by pinning Ziggler. McIntyre came back into the ring for a post-match attack, but Ziggler connected with a zigzag before anything else could transpire. Paul Heyman had came out for his Celebrating the Holidays with Paul Heyman segment. He declared that his client, the Universal Champion Brock Lesnar, was going to defeat Strowman at the Royal Rumble. Strowman would come in, interrupt, taunt Heyman a little bit. Raw Women's Champion Ronda Rousey retained her title over Natty. Ronda made Natty tap out via armbar. Heath Slater defeated Jinder Mahal via DQ due to interference from the Singh brothers. Rhino comes out dressed as Santa Claus to make the save for Slater. Rhino ends the segment with a gore to Jinder. And what appears to be your main event match, Seth Rollins defeated Baron Corbin. Rollins defeated Corbin with a stomp. So, I mean, yeah. Hopefully this saved you 3 hours. I mean, this shit don't sound good, whatsoever. Need I say more? This really sounded like a skip fucking episode. And then SmackDown, congrats to Rusev. Rusev for the third time has become the United States champion. He defeated Nakamura for the United States title to capture it for the third time. Great. That's fucking great because honestly, Rusev, he's been on a roll. And when I look at the U.S. championship picture, it wasn't clicking for me. For Nakamura, it just was not clicking. Nakamura's reign as the United States champion, it lasted a little bit over 150 days, but that ain't nothing to really be bragging about because when you look at United States champions in the history since that belt has been in existence, I would definitely say, and I think anybody else would jump out there and say, that had to have been one of the weakest title reigns in WWE history. So for me, it's going to be very interesting to see where Nakamura goes from here on out, considering he's barely had TV time since he's been the champion during the course of those 150 days, to the point he wasn't even on the TLC pay-per-view card. In case you guys maybe had missed that, right? But Rusev as the United States champion, that's very, very interesting. Opens up a lot more doors, and you just can't, I'm tired of seeing Nakamura just phoning it in. I really, really am, and you can't help but wonder if Nakamura is maybe eventually going to go on ahead and just re-sign with New Japan and all that. I find it interesting that everybody right now is just Paige, what's going on with Paige? How could they get rid of Paige? Oh my God. Why did they get rid of Paige? Let me tell you something. Everybody, look, as stunningly beautiful as Paige is, with the fact that she has her family movie that's going to be coming out, whatever the fuck she's calling it, Fighting with the Family, All in the Family, whatever the fuck she's calling it. The fact that that movie will be coming out in February, let me tell you, yeah, she may not be available mid-March going into April because she's going to be in promo mode. She's going to be doing all the PR stops to talk about the movie and all that. Probably going to be doing the red carpet premiere, all of that stuff. So, yeah, she may be away for a little bit. But I think what could possibly be the end result for Paige and what would be a really clever move to try to help boost the ratings up a little bit, I could see a situation occurring where somehow Drake Maverick is removed from power from 205 Live. I could see some type of a situation occurring where if it was me and I was writing this, I basically would have a scenario come about where the authors of Pain, they say to Drake Maverick, look, man, look, you ain't been coming up with the hot hand these past couple of weeks. You cost us our tag titles. You failed miserably at getting us our rematch for these tag titles. Seriously, what good are you for us? Seriously. And I can see a situation come about where AOP says to Drake Maverick, look, maybe you should go on back to your managing duties at 205. Because it's obvious we run our course with you, and maybe this puts Drake Maverick in a position where he says, no, look guys, look, I'm dedicated to you guys, and maybe AOP is saying, well, prove it, because, we don't really feel that we're your number one priority. So maybe it's a situation that occurs where Drake Maverick goes up to the McMahon Hemsley regime and says, hey, look, I hate to do this. I've enjoyed the opportunities that you've given me since coming to the company. I love being the general manager of 205 Live, but I really want to focus on getting AOP back on the map. I want to get them back to tag team championship status. Maybe it could be a situation like that, right? And as a result of that, by him stepping down as the 205 GM, Paige takes his place. Or maybe it's a situation where you just do a 1-2 punch. Maybe Drake does not step down, because a lot of people have said Drake Maverick has done phenomenally well on 205 Live. A lot of people appreciate his character on 205 Live. Maybe it's a situation where Drake decides, okay, you know what? I could use a little bit of help here on 205. I could use somebody to be my eyes and ears when I've got my hands dipped into a few other things. So there's going to be a co-GM for 205 Live. You could win that way, and I think it would be strategically a very smart move to have Paige be on 205, because now that the mixed match challenge is over, 205 is just pretty much there, right? Because as it stands right now, I think everything comes on Wednesdays now, right? It should be NXT, then you got NXT UK. I lost track. I remember 205 Live used to come on Tuesdays. Sometimes after SmackDown will go off the air, but they were doing the Mixed Match Challenge on Tuesdays. So if I'm not mistaken, 205 has moved to Wednesdays. I think what would be a really smart move, because I know they're trying to figure out what to do with 205, they should strongly consider moving 205 back to Tuesdays after SmackDown is over with, and you can easily be able to tape your matches, utilize Drake, Paige in that capacity. And I know the numbers are not that impressive right now. I mean, yeah, Triple H and crew, they've taken over, but if there's a way you can get things boosted up even more, I say let Paige be on 205. Put her there. Of course, you could always make the transition of having Paige help out at the Performance Center along with Sarah Del Rey in training some of these other up-and-coming talents, at the Performance Center, those that WWE management has their eye on and they're thinking about moving up to NXT and all that. Of course, you know you're going to have Paige pop up to promote her movie on the main flagship shows. You know she's going to pop up on those bad boys, okay? It's not the last of Paige. They are going to be able to find some great work for her to do. I could see situations occur where she's going to be a special guest referee, all of that stuff. It's not the end of Paige. So everybody that is just crying and all that, just chill. Just chill with regards to that. Of course, another scenario that could come about, Paige could be made the overall general manager. That's another thing that you guys got to consider. It could be a situation where when the McMahon-Hemsley regime is not there, Paige could just be in charge of both shows. But if you ask me honestly, I just would love for them to just be done with the whole authority figure. I really don't think we need it. I hope that we're done with it altogether because it's so watered down. It's so washed down. All the promotions that you're looking at, you know, there's always some type of a authority. I just want them to be done with it once and for all. Of course, Paige could be part of the pre-show panels, post-show panels. She's done pretty good, has some really good talking chops. There's plenty of work that they're going to be able to find for Paige. So you guys keep holding on to your jet rags. It's not the end of the world just yet. You guys will be all right. Seriously, you guys will be all right. Of course, the biggest piece of news that came out since last we were on the air with you guys, Impact Wrestling. So Impact Wrestling, they are moving to their fourth network in 4 years. They are moving to the Pursuit channel, and it's going to be a pursuit to put yourself in a position where you could continue watching Impact Wrestling right now. Okay. So it was weird because just days before Christmas, Impact Wrestling puts out this big old press release. Maybe because in their defense, maybe because they finally were able to finalize the deal, and that's why they were finally able to get some type of a press release out there. But basically, they put this press release out last Friday, right? Like I said, literally days before Christmas. And nobody's thinking about, I wonder what's going on with this company. Hey, wonder how, nobody's thinking. Everybody's trying to do their last minute shopping. So they put this press release out talking about how they're going to be going to the Pursuit channel. And when I initially had heard this news, I'm going, oh, Pursuit channel. Okay, well, let me see what's going on here with this Pursuit channel. Let me see if I get access to this. And I got Verizon Files, so I put in the name of the channel and okay, nothing's coming up. I go, okay, well, let me look at networks. Okay, A through Z. Okay, let me do that. I don't see it. I'm going, shit, I don't get the motherfucker. What the hell? And I'm bummed out. And then finally I go, well, wait a minute. Surely I get this. So I end up looking it up online and I see, oh, okay. Well, if you're a Verizon Files customer, you do get it. It's actually on channel blah, blah, blah. And I'll say this off the break for you guys. So as far as availability, DirecTV 604 HD, Dish Network 393 standard definition. If you have Verizon Fios, it is on channel 818, and that's in HD. And IPTV for you AT&T Uverse, it is on channel 644, standard definition, 1644 for high definition. All right. This is a outdoor channel. Okay. And I am getting a little sick and tired of seeing people say, why are people surprised that Impact is moving to an outdoors channel? No, you special person. It is not about people being surprised. It is about history repeating itself once again. One of my favorite Paula Abdul songs, 2 Step Forwards and 2 Steps Back. We make opposites attract, right? I love that song. 2 steps forward, 2 steps back. or in Impact's case, 2 steps forward, 10 steps back is how they operate. All right. So this is just history repeating itself all over again. This is a outdoors channel. Basically, you can watch hunting, fishing, deers getting popped in the head, all that beautiful shit. All right. I've seen the channels, or rather the shows that's on there. Right now, there is only about maybe up to 10, maybe 11 shows that is on the Pursuit channel. This channel has been around since 2008. Their slogan is, "We deliver the outdoors." Its headquarters is based out in Glenwood, Alabama. And Anthem Entertainment actually owns a stake in this channel. So the fact that ultimately you have Impact landing on the Pursuit channel, I mean, look, on the one hand, you could say, okay, well, this is a good thing. Because as far as a transitional phase goes, doing what you can to continue to build up the Impact Wrestling brand and all that, yeah, this is actually a pretty good, a good thing if it's temporary. But when you look at the fact that Impact Wrestling and its history, I mean, I have been watching Impact since its days when it was a weekly pay-per-view show. And I think you were paying like $10 an episode or some shit like that just to be able to watch. That's how long I've been with Impact or TNA. I remember its days on FSN network, the Fox Sports network. I remember that. It would come on Saturdays, and then sometimes, because if it was preempted by a baseball game or whatever, sometimes it would come on early Sunday morning, you know, like maybe 12, 1 o'clock, sometimes 2 o'clock Sunday morning. Once in a blue moon, you would catch it Sunday afternoons, right? And then eventually it had went to Spike TV. And boy, was it just running around on those days. It was on Thursdays, Mondays. Everybody remembers the Mondays because it miserably tried to go head to head with Raw. Then it went crawling back to Thursdays. Then we see it move to Wednesdays and then Fridays and then Wednesdays, all this crap on Destination America. And then it went to Thursdays on, what was it? I think Pop TV. And then it went to Tuesdays, on Pop TV. Then it went back to Thursdays, and now currently it's on Fridays. And then I believe it's going to be on Fridays when it moves to the Pursuit channel. So, I mean, it's done a lot of flip-flopping so much that it's really hard to keep track of it. It's really hard. And for me, what was really alarming was looking at the numbers for Impact Wrestling. You don't need to take my word for it. Go out there and respectfully do your own research, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. But I found it so fascinating, Impact Wrestling's numbers, because when they had signed with Spike TV, let's just really pick it up from there. When they had re-signed for a multi-year extension with Spike TV, their numbers pretty damn good at that point. Their numbers were pretty damn good. They had an average of 700,000 viewers at launch to nearly 2 million viewers at the time that Spike TV had went on ahead and said, hey, we're going to go on ahead and we're going to make this multi-year deal with Spike TV. So, you know, you hear that and you're going, wow, well, that's pretty damn good. That is pretty damn good. 700,000 viewers at launch, and now you're averaging 2 million. Wow, that's pretty good. And that goes as far back as 2012. So if my memory serves correctly, now look, I know some people are like, wait a minute, this is kind of This is kind of throwing me off, Lee. Okay, go back. Oh, sorry, that's my phone going off there. Go back to December. Actually, not December. Go back to April 5th of 2012. Spike TV and TNA Entertainment had agreed upon a multi-year extension, maintaining Spike TV as the exclusive U.S. television home of the emerging sports entertainment company. This was an agreed upon extension to a multi-year deal of their current TV deal, right? So you're oh wow, okay, well this is pretty damn good for TNA. Okay, $2 million. That ain't bad at all. That is not bad at all. And then when you look at the last Impact Wrestling on Spike TV, when you look at the last rating, it wasn't that bad at all. For a final first run episode on Spike TV, it finished with a 0.83 cable rating, according to Nielsen Media Research. So basically, when you break that down as far as the viewership, it pretty much averaged 980,000 viewers for Spike TV, slightly up from the previous week's show, which had an average audience of 970,000 viewers. So that's not bad. Now, some of you guys may be saying, okay, well, that was their final episode on Spike TV. How did they do on their debut on the Destination America channel? Well, they drew 359,000 viewers for the 2-hour tape delay live special that had went down on January 1st. Remember, that deal with Destination America had only lasted 1 freaking year. That was the episode where the main event had saw Bobby Lashley defeat Bobby Roode to become the TNA World Heavyweight Champion. The show pretty much was mixed by fans. So you see that number. You look at the numbers that we just told you for their final joint on Spike TV, and look at the significant drop that they had in their debut on Destination America. Now, some of you guys may be going, okay, Lee, well, how exactly did they do pretty much overall on Destination America? Run was 1 year. And when you look at it, I'm looking at the spreadsheet right here from January 16th to May 29th on Friday nights. Impact averaged a little bit over 406,000 first run viewers. 140 plus thousand West Coast replay viewers. So when you combine the two, you're looking at a little over 550,000 combined viewers. Now, from January 3rd up until December 9th on Wednesday nights, which included 26 weeks paired with ROH TV, Impact averaged 291,000 first run viewers. That is a 28% decline. And then you had 82,655 West Coast / replay viewers an hour later after the ROH episode. That's a 42% decline. So you had a total of 371,000 plus total combined viewership. That is a 33% decline. And then probably the most intriguing out of the combined numbers is when you compare the combined wrestling audience Wednesday nights. Like when you take the Friday nights and you compare it to the Wednesdays, check this out. 550,000 average of TNA's combined live and replay West Coast audience on Fridays from January 16th through May 29th. And then you have the 559,000, 885,000. That's an average of the combined audience of ROH TV, Impact, and replays on Wednesday nights from June 3rd through December 9th. When you look at the individual show stats, most watched Friday Impact saw 691,000 total viewers on the February 2nd edition. That was the lockdown special. The least watched Friday Impact saw 414,000 total viewers on March 13th, which is when Destination America started to sour on TNA 3 months into their working relationship. Most watched Wednesday edition of Impact try saying that 3 times fast. Most watched Wednesday edition of Impact, 451,000 total viewers on June 24th, 4 weeks into the Wednesday night run. Closest TNA got to that high point the rest of the year was 447,000 viewers on the October 7th edition following Bound for Glory. Least watched Wednesday Impact, 280,000 total viewers on November 18th when the writing was on the wall that TNA, Destination America were going to be parting ways. When you look at the age demographics on Destination America, it's very interesting. The average median age on Wednesday nights, it was 52 years old. When you look at the demographics on Friday night, 74% males, 18-49 demographic, and 26% females, 18 to 49 demographic. You see a demographic split Wednesday nights that saw 77% males, 18 to 49, and 23% females, 18 to 49. So, in essence, when TNA had shift to Wednesday nights mid-year during that time on Destination America, the audience, if you're paying attention to the stats here, it actually grew older and Impact drew a narrow audience as a result. And then when you see what ultimately they ended up doing on Pop TV, as that network, it's mostly skewed for female viewers in the 18 to 49 demographic. Yeah, to a degree, you can kind of say, Pop TV was kind of hurting them just a little bit. Now, I've seen how Impact Wrestling has been doing on Pop TV. And for those of you that are like, well, wait a minute now, what's going on with them on Pop TV? Pop TV, they have been getting some of their lowest numbers since they've been on Pop TV. For their Pop TV network debut, they did 255,000 viewers and a 0.08 rating in the 18 to 49 demographic. Yeah. Not really that impressive, but when you fast forward and you go all the way to what's been happening recently, we can go and look at the best of Impact Wrestling that went about last week. Not really that impressive when you look at it. That one drew 116,000 viewers, down from the previous episode, which was 140,000 viewers. Now, some people may say, well, what we had got this past week, it was a best of. But look, man, when it's all said and done, since they've been on Pop TV, there were a couple of times where it wasn't even in the 100,000s. Maybe it only occurred 2, maybe possibly 3 times. But when you look at that decline, and this is where we really need to bring it on home here. When you look at the declining of the ratings, if you are on 4 different networks basically throughout the course of like 4 freaking years, what do you expect is going to happen? Seriously. What do you expect is going to happen when you keep moving around night after night to different time slots, and then you keep moving to different networks, and then you don't even have the common sense to try to make sure that you're able to keep the same date and time. You're just on a new network. When you have all of this craziness that's going on, and then you combine that with the number one problem I have seen with Impact Wrestling for many years now, which is there is not a full court press If you are working in Impact Wrestling's PR department, there isn't okay, look, this is what's going on. We're going to be moving to this new network. We need all hands on deck. We need you guys to go to the Busted Open radios. We need you guys to go to hell, the RCWR shows, the Jason Solo Monsters. We need you to go to any and every show that's out there, and we need you guys to sell us moving to this new network. And I don't know what it is with regards to the people that are in charge of the PR team, media obligations, the media division of Impact Wrestling. I can tell you there were times when we were doing the Impact Showdown radio that covered nothing but fallout from Impact Wrestling and Impact Wrestling pay-per-views and all that. I can't tell you how many times we had reached out to the PR talent relations team over the years when we still had the show. And we were saying, hey guys, look, we really appreciate the product that you guys put out every single week. Love the opportunity to interview whatever talents are available to come talk about the show, talk about any upcoming events, etc. And we always used to get turned down. And by this point, we already had a very respected and established history, an impressive resume of who all we had appear on our show. We had the stats to back it up. We also had the working relationships with a lot of the wrestling websites that's out there, very reputable wrestling websites that's out there. And they did not want to work with us in helping getting their brand over. And it was just freaking stupid. I remember one time, Robbie E may actually remember this. He may be able to back me up on this. But I remember there was one time we had reached out directly to Robbie E. And Robbie E was like, yeah, I would love to do the show. No problem. The only thing is you got to talk to so-and-so over in the talent media relations department of the company. I'd love to do it, but you got to talk with them. You got to make sure everything's cleared with them. It's, okay. But you would love to do the show. Yeah, I'd love to do the show. So, reached out to this same cat that was a dick to us in the past. And I said, hey, look, this is the situation. This is what's going on. What do you say? Would you be open to helping us out? Robbie E already said they would love to do the show. Can we make something happen here? It would really mean a lot. We'd love to do nothing but put over the Impact product, talk about it. Y'all been making some great moves recently. What's up? And we got stonewalled. We got denied again. And it was WTF. I mean, seriously. So I've seen that be a number one issue in that organization is, and that's where companies like WWE and even Ring of Honor, hell, I've even got to give Lucha Underground credit. I can't tell you how many times I've inquired, hey, Lucha, love to talk about the upcoming season. Who's available? I can't tell you how many times these companies have been very receptive in working with us and trying to figure something out so that we can get the talent on the show to talk about these products. More than willing, more than capable, more than willing, available to talk about the product, available to talk about their employer. But yet Impact Wrestling, and look, I'm not throwing any shade on the wrestlers. I don't think it's the wrestlers' fault. The wrestlers can only take direction as it's given to them. So, I mean, honestly, look, think about it. If you're a wrestler, you do your thing for Impact, you're doing your thing on the free agency market, and that little bit of time that you have reserved for yourself, your family, you're going to do what you need to do. Unless Impact says, hey, look, we did this new deal with Pursuit. We need you to go out there. We need you to make your rounds on these interviews. If you could give us at least 3 shows this week, it's going to be you and it's going to be It's going to be rotated. Fucking rotated, right? Let 3, 4, 5 people be available to speak to about this new move that you're doing and get it over, get it out there, see if we can get the transcripts, all that good stuff. Let's put some stuff out there on our website, on our YouTube channel, blah this, blah that. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. Podcasters, radio show hosts can be your greatest ally if you know how to use them properly. And every single time, history has shown itself that with regards to Impact Wrestling, and they make these moves, they do not do the full court press. And the numbers just keep getting lower and lower and lower. Remember what I just told you several minutes ago. Impact Wrestling, Spike TV, started off doing about 700,000, then was pulling in a little over 2 million. 2 million. And now you come all the way up to now, hours before Christmas, and they're averaging 114,000, somewhere between 100 to maybe 144,000 if they're lucky. 150 tops. That is a scary telling tale as far as I'm concerned. And look, I'm not trying to make this be a shitting on Impact Wrestling Day or anything like that. People that follow me on social media knows how I've really, all this year, I have been turning more and more to open eyes on the Impact product. I love what I have been seeing of the Impact product this year. They've been going through some growing pains, but they are doing their very best. I love guys like Moose. I love Jordan Grace. I love the fact that Katarina is back. Love that Katarina is back. We've got Killer Cross. We've got frickin' Willie Mack. Rich Swan's doing his thing down there. Sammy Callahan. Not so much OVE, really Sammy Callahan. Because things really started popping for me, and my head really started to turn when Sammy Callahan hooked up with OVE. So I really love what Sammy Callahan has been doing. You've got LAX, the OGs. I love all those guys that's doing it over there. Tessa Blanchard, Allie, Rosemary's back. I mean, all them talents tearing it up over there, right? And I've been telling people more and more, hey, check out Impact Wrestling, man. They're really putting on a really good product. But stupid crap like this, you have to learn from history so that you don't repeat the same mistakes over and over and over again. This company has been around for almost 20 years. And it continues to make these mistakes. Now, some people will say, oh, well, this would have never happened if Dixie Carter understands something. Some of the decisions that Dixie Carter had made affected what is currently happening with this product to this very day. So saying that, oh, this would have never happened under, that is a very silly comment to be making. Not when you go back and you really trace all the steps. Okay? Look, if I could take a positive out of this, it's the fact that Anthem owns part of this network, and PW Insider, they're saying that this is not a long-term deal, that basically, and I hope it's not. I hope it's a situation where they are able to collectively use this opportunity, go at a really decent pace, to really build up the brand, take care of whatever kinks needs to be taken out, work on their analytics, and maybe they can go and get whatever deal. Now look, we don't know what networks they may have came close to, if they were even close at all to securing a deal on these other networks. Whoever is in charge of the negotiations would have to be the ones to be in the hot seat to answer those questions. All we could do is speculate. I don't really care for the speculation. I want to just deal with the facts. I can't tell you, when you went on Impact's own social media pages, be it Twitter, be it Facebook, there were so many vocal people. It was unanimous. It was very hard to ignore people that were saying, well, I don't get this channel. I just checked. I don't get this channel. Even after the information was put out there, hey, if you get this, if you're with Fios, it's on this channel. If you're with AT&T Uverse, it's on this channel. Even after all that, you still had so many people that were saying, oh, hey, yeah, sorry, I don't get this channel. I really hope that Impact Wrestling, and I'm not trying to sound like a broken record, I'm not, but I really hope that Impact Wrestling does like MLW and they make episodes, full episodes be available, if not on their YouTube channel, make full episodes be available on their on their little app. What is it? The GFN or GFW, whatever they're calling it, Impact Wrestling's little app. I hope they make it be available on there. Now, one thing that I find very, very interesting that a lot of people are not talking about, and that's the fact that when you go in and you look at Pop TV and you look at the accessibility of Pop TV, Pop TV is available to 73.8 million households in America. That was as of 2016. Remember that number. It is available to 73.8 million households in America as of January 2016. So now when you jump, and this is by Pursuit Channel's own network, right? This is by Pursuit's own website. When you go on their own website, Pursuit is available to a bit over 40 million homes. Over 34 million of them being DirecTV and Dish customers. The remainder of the viewers are various cable, OTT devices, and broadcasting stations. So look at that. 74 million on Pop, and now 40 million, but out of that 40, a little over 34 million being DirecTV and Dish. So, I mean, that's a huge significant blow. I mean, you've pretty much almost cut that literally in half when you really stop and you think about it. So it is about brand awareness. I can't stress that enough. If I could implore anything on Impact Wrestling in 2019, better brand awareness, really doing a better job, putting your talents out there. And look, if some of these talents want to throw a little bit of a hissy fit and say, I don't really want to do these interviews, slip them a little bit of money. Just be like, hey, look, all I need you to do is 5 shows this week, give you $500. Talk to them for like about 30 minutes, 45 minutes, give you $500. Just do it just like that. Now, look, on a positive note, Impact Wrestling, they've been saving on costs, production-wise. They've been filming their shows out in Canada, and when it comes to some of their pay-per-view events, some of them they just do in Canada, but then you've had those where they come on back to North America. I like that. I mean, they're getting ready to come back for the homecoming in Nashville, right? I love how they keep doing that. That's smart. That works well. Costs, you're saving on money. Keep that up. I like that. These international deals that they've really been continuing to thrive on, right? That's really been helping them as well. Keep that up. What they did by hooking up with Chris Jericho, doing the whole Jericho cruise, Jericho making the announcement that the cruise is coming back. That's a continuing working relationship. Stay at it. Keep at it. You gotta stay on top of these things. You can't just assume, and this is the mentality that comes off, that radiates from Impact, the people in charge, to me as a viewer, which is, okay, we're here on this network. Come to us. And that is not how it works. That's not how it works. And I've seen a lot of fucked up jokes, a lot of cruel jokes that were out there with regards to Impact Wrestling. But you know what? When you get right down to the heart of the matter, truth hurts. But if they keep it up, yeah, they will be on public access, public broadcasting access TV. They will be there if they keep this up, right? I would imagine that the WGNs, the Sci-Fis, True TV, whoever you want to throw out there, I would imagine that with the abysmal numbers, poor, let's call it for what it is, with the poor numbers that they have right now in viewership, in terms of viewership, yeah, I would imagine that it's not exactly appealing to any of those networks right now. Not to mention, and let's really take this a step farther, because again, nobody's really talking about this, right? They're not going to break it down the way that I'm breaking it down, because I've been with this product through and through. Through and through, I've been with this product. All right? When you don't have the star power, okay? You don't have the Kurt Angles. You don't have the Stings. You don't have the Bully and Bubba Ray. You don't have the Mick Foleys. You don't have the Ric Flairs. You don't have Samoa Joe. You don't have Frankie Kazarian, Christopher Daniels, AJ Styles, Bobby Roode, James Storm, Eric Young, EC3. You don't have these guys anymore. Bobby Lashley. When I say Impact Wrestling has been going through growing pains, they've been going through growing pains. You don't have Matt and Jeff Hardy anymore. Hell, you don't even have Jeff Jarrett. Don Callis, Scott D'Amore, they have been doing a really good job under the circumstances. I mean, it almost reminds me of, I just talked about this near the top of the show, what had been happening with the Washington Redskins and how they've been plagued with injuries this whole season and how they've been able to manage to get so far yet so close. When I look at Impact Wrestling and I look at a lot of the pieces that they've lost and how they've been able to slowly rebuild, I see the progress. I appreciate the progress. I want for these guys to stay the course. But yes, 2019, I want them to continue to thrive. I want them to really learn from these mistakes. I'm sure if they would just have an open forum and they would engage with their audience, a lot of what I'm saying is what they're going to constantly see in the forums. A lot of what I'm saying is what they're going to be seeing on their Twitter feeds, Facebook, all that. Now more than ever, there are more people that are proactive towards Impact Wrestling, wants for this company to thrive. But with decisions like this, yes, is it bad? Yes. But long term, it's going to be very beneficial. Very beneficial. So, look, when it's all said and done, I don't want for a company, a wrestling company, to go out of business. There are a lot of really good men and women that perform for us in that ring, and I've always had the mindset of, hey, the more promotions that are out there, the more opportunities that are presented for these talents to go out there and showcase their skills, showcase their God-given talents. For the production teams, all that, it gives them an opportunity to continue to thrive as well. It gives them a place to work. It's a win-win situation for everybody at the end of the day, including the fans. So the last thing I want to see is a company go out of business, but you have to learn from your mistakes. You can't just keep going, fuck it, we'll wing it. You can't keep doing that, because sooner or later, those mistakes add up. And sooner or later, you'll run out of corners. Sooner or later, you can keep zigzagging all you want, but sooner or later, you're gonna hit a dead end. And there ain't gonna be no other direction that you can go. So, really hoping 2019 Impact really gets off on the good foot and they get off the ground running. I would not be worried about a WGN, a sci-fi. Just do what you got to do to take care of your brand, really build that product up. Continue to try to be in the plus positives, take care of any red tape that's floating around out there. Work on getting back to good, continue the course that you're on, and everything else will fall into place appropriately at the time allowed. And other than that, just wondering if there's anything else I want to get into. Hey, can I send best wishes to Sarah Logan and who's the guy? RAW? I can't picture his first name right now. It'll come to me when I least expect it. But apparently they had got married. Matter of fact, I'm sure if I just type in Sarah Logan married, it'll definitely give it to me. Raymond Rowe, that's who I was thinking of. Yeah, Sarah Logan, Raymond Rowe of the WWE, they got married in a Viking themed wedding. So congratulations to them. That's pretty awesome. Leo Rush, he also got married as well. So shout out to Leo Rush. all these people with the weddings in the air and all that. I love this. I really, really love this, man. Some good stuff right there. But yeah, Leo Rush, he shared a really nice picture of himself and his now wife, a actress and model, Sarah Leigh Green. And it's a really nice picture. They're basically out in front of, I know that's his car. It's gotta be his car. It's a nice ass, pretty black. I don't know if that's a Corvette or what, but looks pretty badass. So congrats to him. So that's good stuff, man. That's some really good stuff. Always puts a smile on my face when we see good things like this going on. Trying to think if there's anything else I had wanted to get into on this show, and there's nothing else that I can think of, quite honestly. Nothing else I really wanted to get into on this episode. So, it's been a short week. It's been pretty quiet. Not really too much has been going on. So we're going to go on ahead, stick a fork in it, call this DONE done. At this point, your next edition of the RCWR show, that is going to be tape delayed as well. I'm going to be recording a episode on the weekend, and we'll make that be available on Monday, New Year's Eve of December 31st. So you guys will get that a day early. This week, though, remember, I'll probably make it be available on Thursday. There is going to be on demand and on the downloads an episode of 30 with Lee reviewing the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. So I would have released it earlier, but I felt that, with it being traveling week, people being with their friends, loved ones and all that, would make a lot of sense to maybe give some bonus content out there as well. So probably around Wednesday, Thursday at the latest, I'll give you guys that. And be kind, rewatch, check out previous episodes of the RCWR show you may have missed. Available on demand and on the downloads. Be a Patreon member, patreon.com/RCWR show. $5 a month gives you access to some great bonus content. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Use the keywords, the RCWR show. If you're a long-time listener of the RCWR show, by the way, for a fact you've interacted with me in the past, make sure you get at me on social media so I can give you access to the private chat on Discord. Alright guys, that's going to do it. A very Merry Christmas to everybody. Those of you not celebrating it, Happy Holidays. And I will catch you guys next go round. Be safe and most importantly, be kind to one another. Adios!